guys, how's it going? This is Dee of FTL Nerd Talk.
And it's Anton Sixxx, 3X's from Chessy Controller-Podcast. Freshly off episode 200.
Woo! 200 episodes for you guys.
Right.
I'm happy to hear it.
And we got the second one live for Table Cheese today, and, we got video this time. Last time we didn't have video.
We did not. We did. I'm rocking the mic in my hand. I'm close to inebriated, and this is a show. We got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Hanging out in Radic Record Studios.
Yeah.
Did I say that correctly?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Well, Radic Records.
See, I knew it was the other way around. I was practicing on my way here. But yeah, we got some stuff to talk about today.
So the two things that I wanted to talk about, the first thing I wanted to really talk about was, because we've talked about it on the show a couple times, Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights is now out.
It's here.
And it doesn't have a performance mode. It is locked at 30 frames per second across all consoles, even though it dropped the last gen version.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, that was when we talked about them dropping the last gen versions. I was like, so you wouldn't have to compromise with making the game.
Exactly.
But the fact that it is a 2022 game, that it's not like it's blowing the doors off of anything, like it's not more complicated or complex than Destiny,
And it's not. And you know what? Like, I watched the gameplay of this, and like, you don't really miss out on much, to be honest with you, man. Like, I have a 4K TV, so I watched it in 4K also. Like, it doesn't really lag. I feel like, you don't really miss out on much not having the 30 frames per second, to be honest with you. Kind of like how Requiem for a Plague is also not 60 frames per second. It's 30 as well. And
both of these games. So, like, if you're looking at it, it's just kind of like a different thing. Like, 30 frames per second was the norm on PS3, and then PS4, certain games would run at 60, but since PS5's been out, like, almost everything is doing between 60 and 120 frames per second. And so, like, for this to come out and be 30, it's just not going to feel or play as smooth as, like, other games. And it'll be noticeable, because, like, Radic and I, we've played Fortnite that runs at 60 on PS5 and have gone to Switch and played Monster Hunter that was running at 30, and, like, both got physically tired because of the difference in, like, it's something you notice definitely when playing, especially when playing side by side. Like, if you're playing a couple games, like shuffling through whatever, I know a few people, like, I don't know anybody personally who's playing Gotham Knights with Plague Tale Requiem. Like, I know a few people playing that, and it's just, and I understand that that's a smaller team, but, like, for WB games, there's no reason that this game, like, just on a technical level, like, as far as the content, like, it's kind of take it or leave it as far as that goes.
I get that. I can get that.
Yeah, technically, like, nothing I'm seeing here is like, oh, there's no way they could have got this running at 60. So, like, maybe they should have given it more time, or, like, I don't know what they could have done, but, like, 30 frames per second on a current gen game. And, like, some people were saying that the Series S is holding it back, but that's no excuse for the PS5 version. If it's made and optimized for a PS5, it should be running at 60 frames per second on a PS5.
Now, see, like, I've been watching this game play out probably for 2 hours this morning.
Yeah.
And, like, hearing, like, you guys describe, like, the game you guys were playing before, and, like, how, like, that kind of didn't hold up to your standard. Now, when characters that, like, say you're about to fight one of the characters in this game and they don't hit you while you're sitting right next to them, would, like, the 60 frames per second affect something like that?
A little bit, but it's more so, like, we're watching it, and it's, of course, running at 30 frames per second in this, but you notice stuff like that a lot more when playing it. It's just kind of, it's more of like a hands-on controller versus, like, looking at it. Like, sure, it might affect input speed, but the fact that it's running at 60 on PC shows that, like, the game's capable of doing it. It's just not, like, properly optimized.
So you think they rush bringing it out just to make some cash, or for advertisement?
Well, no, I mean, like, it just seems like they didn't prioritize that, and so
Then why would they hold it back then? Just like to let it come out exclusively on the new consoles?
Well,
Because
no, if they were to hold it back, I would hope they would optimize it. Like, I hope whatever this team makes next, they learn from the mistakes of this game.
I mean, if they get the chance, if it doesn't make the sales, like, they may not get a chance. Like, W Montreal may be done after this.
Well, I mean, they had so much, and the other part about this is they had so much time since Batman Arkham Origins
That's
to
the
make
thing,
this
yeah.
game.
Like, because they've been like the go-to when it comes to all these games, but this is a big mess up. Like, here with most of you guys, hardcore gamers, this is a big screw up on their end. And why would they not optimize the game for it to be such a difference since that is that way on the PC? And why would they hold it back? Like, they just didn't want to let it out on the old console because those were dying.
Yeah.
But they didn't make the proper changes.
They would have gotten more sales if they put it out on the last gen consoles.
You think so?
Yeah, because I mean, there are just that many more of those systems, and like, it's Batman IP, so it's going to definitely be kind of like, it'll be a game that'll sell off name recognition sitting on the shelf. So.
Are you guys gonna play anytime soon? You guys gonna are you at least gonna get into it?
It's a hard no.
Is it because of that one reason?
No, well, I mean, this fall's going to be crazy. We got God of War coming up. Overwatch has been hitting. So
that's exactly makes me think that's why they wanted to come out on this time. They wanted to jump in on that money, on those sales, on the God of War and all the other games that come out.
Like, traditionally speaking, like, games coming out on top of each other like that, unless they're completely different, like Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing New Horizons launched on the same day. So, like, those are two completely different games for two completely different audiences. So, like, those aren't going to cannibalize each other's sales. But I remember when Titanfall 2 came out, it was, I want to say, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare dropped one week, Titanfall 2 dropped the next week, and then Battlefield 1 dropped the following week. And Titanfall 2 suffered because it came out between Call of Duty and Battlefield. Even though EA puts out both Battlefield and Titanfall, they put Titanfall 2 out to die. And
it did.
And but it just didn't get the sales it deserved because it came out between...
So what you're telling me right now, like this game coming out this soon before God of War could be a help or a hindrance.
I think it's a hindrance because, I mean, it's like a AAA...
it's a AAA company.
Action adventure, yeah, but like for me, I'm not going to buy this game at full price right now.
And then buy God of War. Like, why would you do that?
And so if I can only pick one, which I'm choosing to only pick one, I'm picking God of War.
And the fact that like it is played in 30 frames per second and not 60, that's a more of enough reason for me not to play that game.
Right, because God of War is going to have a performance mode that's going to run at 120 frames per second.
With upgradable weapons and new characters attached to it, and like a story arc ending that everyone's talking about who's already played it. So yeah.
I played the first one. I haven't actually played any of the Arkham games for any extended period of time. So, and I know this is technically not in the same Arkham, but I mean it's similar enough gameplay.
Yeah, it seems similar storyline too. It seems like the Joker's dead in this also.
Well, the Joker has been dead for a while.
But this is a different universe.
Oh yeah.
So the Joker is presumably dead in this universe too. So yeah. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I watched how Batman died inside this too. Like there's no spoilers. Like you see it literally in the first 5 minutes of the game. So it was interesting death. Honorable.
All right. So yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk about was Platinum Games and Jennifer Hale coming out. So my current understanding of it, and I'm sure things are going to change, and if there are any major updates, because it seems like there's miscommunication going on between her agent and Platinum Games.
Yeah.
And it's probably because there's a language barrier, because she said she was only offered $4,000 for
flat out.
Yeah.
For the whole session of the game.
Right. But it seemed like they were offering her $4,000 to $5,000 per session for 4 to 5 sessions to record the entirety of the game. So that is closer to a going rate of an actual voice actor.
Right.
So but it just seemed like there was a miscommunication, and so she like called for a boycott, but like since her videos and have come out and like Platinum Games, because Hideki Kamiya, VP of Platinum, like.
We're talking about Taylor, by the way, right now too. Like the original voice actor of Bayonetta, Taylor. Is it Nadia Taylor?
Helena Taylor.
Helena Taylor.
No,
that's the original voice of Bayonetta. She's the one who's saying that there should be a boycott of the game. That she only made 4,000, would make only 4,000 for the entirety of the game. And like Jennifer Hale is taking up the role now, who's also a veteran voice actor for over 20 years, I believe, and she's like saying that people shouldn't boycott the game, correct?
Right, because she's not getting residuals off of it, but like if you spend time and put effort into recording a voice for the game, and I mean she's under NDAs, so
she broke those already, yeah. Taylor did. Taylor broke those NDAs. And like I've also been seeing that Hale says like she's not going to talk too much about it.
Right.
She's also under an NDA and she doesn't want to break that, but she is going for some type of civility with everybody to like even if you feel a way about this game, don't besmirch people like who are working on this game, like herself included, because they didn't do anything wrong. They're just caught in the middle of all of this. Which I can understand like that happening. Like like. Hale been around for like almost 20 years of voice acting, and like now she's getting caught in the middle of this, and like she's like literally now stuck in this, and like her name's being besmirched because of it too, and like that's kind of sucks, man.
Yeah, it just seemed like this whole storm like it spread it up over the weekend, and then coming into the week like it's been developments because like Kamina was just blocking people. Like,
that's what he does, right?
Yeah, he's infamous for blocking people. But apparently he blocked so many people that like Twitter's like, oh no, he must have been hacked and suspended his account.
It happens, man. Yeah.
So
you got that. It's a community. You can just keep on blocking people. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Believe me, I know. I have been there. It's like unfollowing like a big number of people. They will flag that, and you will get your account suspended. So yeah.
Oh, I've never had anything like that happen to me. I know there was a certain limit back in the day of how much you could tweet, and then they put you in like quote unquote jail. Yeah.
They were doing a little story, a little sidetrack from this. During 2020, I was part of that whole group who were like calling out ACAB, posting things that like expose cops in different cities and states, and like doing so, you learn like what to and not to do when it comes to social media, and like that is definitely unblocking or following people on a random. Not a good thing to do. Not at all. So, like that happened with him. He's in Twitter jail right now, currently. So
well, he's out. Like,
is he?
Yeah. It's back up.
That's a big thing in today's age though. Like to have something get so hyped up that your account gets suspended for a while. Like no matter what reason you say it's for, like, your account was suspended during this whole debacle. Like people are gonna remember that. So
yeah.
That's nuts, man. That's nuts. This whole thing is nuts. Like I don't really have an opinion about it because like it doesn't involve me. But this whole situation is it gonna make you not want to play the game? How's that?
So I'm gonna personally pass on it because I haven't finished Bayonetta 2. Like it's not a pass like indefinitely. Like it's kind of like it's one that I have on my radar, but it's just not one of the big ones I have planned to like get into this fall.
That's interesting. So like, I have no investment in this game, so like whether I play it or not is irrelevant. But this does remind me a lot of what happened with Rings of Power, like all the racist things we were saying about that game, about that TV show, like how like there are no black elves and all that crap being like put out there over and over again. It made me not want to watch the show, and like the first episode was kind of blah to me because like I went into it with that mentality.
Yeah.
It's kind of like hard not to think that people are going to have this kind of mentality while they're playing this game also. Whether they buy it or not, like that's going to be lingering in the back of their head the entire time.
Yeah.
Like
but at least it's not as bad as it seemed when she initially posted the video. It just seems like there's been some miscommunication.
And that's the only way like, you can take it like this. Like, no one's really at fault anymore. They kind of getting swept under the rug right now. I never really got into Bayonetta. Like, the controls were too much for me, to be honest with you.
Well, no, I really like Bayonetta 1, and, like, that's, like, on my list of to replay it, and then 2, I have 2, I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
I played the controls before, it reminded me a lot of Devil May Cry. I guess...
It's like third-person character action, and Platinum are, like, some of the best in the business at it.
Right.
They're up there with, like,
Team Ninja.
Yeah, Team Ninja. So Platinum, Team Ninja, and I'm trying to think. Devil May Cry team. Like, I know it's Capcom, but
Capcom, right?
It's like one of the studios within Capcom. I think it's like Team Little Angels.
Okay.
No, that might have been something with Catherine.
And the character, like Bayonetta herself, has like a cool aesthetic about her. She could be considered fan service if it wasn't for the fact that like that she knows what she's doing and she's aware like her
right,
sexual
she
appeal.
owns it.
Yeah, she owns it 100%. Like no one can do anything about it. So like it's not even really considered fan service. Like she has like a genre of her own when it comes like to woman empowerment. Like and also being sexy at the same time. Like it's like a full circle and like it's kind of hard like for people like want to push that away from like the gaming culture also because like it has a hard stake in the claim.
Yeah.
It's definitely a different vibe, a different feel when it comes to this character, like Bayonetta. Because watching that clip we just saw,
Team Little Devil.
Team Little
Devil. Okay.
So, yeah, that's the team behind DMC, and like the combat director from DMC is going to be working on Final Fantasy 16, and that actually got a new trailer this week. I know I talked about some of these things earlier on Chessy Controller, but the Final Fantasy 16 trailer, like, Dee, I think you especially should go watch this because this kind of shows a lot of the factions and the kingdoms and, like, some of the key players in, like, what the story of Final Fantasy 16. And, yeah, they drop a lot of proper nouns and but it's really nerdy, but...
So wait a second, like, this is a sequel to 15, you said?
No, what this is the next game from Creative Business Unit 3. This is the next game from them. Their previous / ongoing game is Final Fantasy 14.
Okay.
15 was made by Team Luminous, or Luminous Productions.
Okay.
And Luminous Productions, their next game is Forspoken, which is coming out early next year.
That's just rare. You rarely see, like, continuations like this in the Final Fantasy universe. It's usually like different worlds for each game.
Well, yeah, this is a different world. So this trailer is specifically explaining the world of Final Fantasy 16.
Okay.
It's just the same team developing it.
That's what you're getting at.
All right. But like Final Fantasy 14 being an MMO, like they're masters at storytelling and their world building and lore is like next level. But like there's a barrier of entry of people not necessarily wanting to play MMO. So this is their opportunity to make a single-player core Final Fantasy game. Like Final Fantasy 16 is going to sell off just the merits of it being Final Fantasy being on the box, and like the pedigree of Creative Business Unit 3, as far as like the common consensus, like they are great storytellers.
Yeah.
Like Yoshi P is directing this and directs 14, and like. So this is going to be probably like a 60 to 80 hour JRPG. You're going to fight God, like they have the icon battles, and this one particular shot in the trailer just looks horrible to me. Like all the other shots and all the other trailers looks really good. But just that look at how much better this looks than that. Like everything else looks fine, but just that one of him walking towards
emerging from the shadows.
From the shadows, like that looks like 14 graphics. But like in comparison to how good 16 looks, not being constrained by like the tool set of 14, like 14's a game that's been around for a while. Like they're gonna be doing graphical updates. Like that's something they've talked about doing before the next expansion, but like 16 is a PS5 exclusive. Like it shows that it is a next gen game. Like it wears it on its sleeve. So
this is gets pretty intense.
yeah.
All right.
It's super dope, man.
All right.
The kid, like, so what it, I don't know what they're called, but the icons are the summons, which have been like a consistent thing through multiple Final Fantasy games. And so, like, that guy's Titan, the kid turns into Phoenix. We've seen, you saw Ifrit earlier. So it seems like your main character is going to be traveling from kingdom to kingdom and battling. So I don't know if she turns into Garuda or Shiva, but because see, they have the Garuda, but then they have Shiva right there, and Shiva's also blonde. So
this is nuts.
yeah, and so like if you look at the combat, it has that third-person character action because it's coming. Yeah, it's coming from. Oh well, yeah. So the kaiju battles. Like you have the big health bars like that on both sides, so it's like you're playing a fighting game essentially with that. But then the combat is like Devil May Cry 5 combat, which had immaculate combat.
Right.
So
they put like a lot of things into this game. It looks like
they're putting like all good things. Like the composer is Soken, who composes for Final Fantasy 14, and his music fucking rocks. So
wicked.
Yeah, this is definitely my most anticipated game, and like getting a new trailer for it. Like this is the third trailer, and every trailer has just had me hyped.
How have I not heard anything about this yet? Did it just drop today?
No, this one dropped Wednesday.
Wednesday? What the fuck? This is literally my first time hearing about it.
But yeah, so it's that, like, that's my most anticipated game of next year. My most anticipated game for the rest of this year is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. I'm really excited for that. Like, I definitely want to. I've played through that game multiple times on PSP. I'm super excited to play it on PS5. Like, Zack Fair is just the GOAT, you know?
That's nice. Look at that.
And, like, the fact that they replaced all the models and, like, redid, like, so many of the textures across the game, like, this is almost, like, it's recognizable because it's the same game, like, it's the same thing under the surface, but, like, just the quality in-game has increased so much. Like, the fact they're, like, I'm willing to bet this game has a performance mode that runs at 60 FPS.
It has like a lot of the 14 elements inside of it, but it looks exactly still kind of like the original.
This actually plays more like a Kingdom Hearts game.
I can see that as well.
Oh, versus like more of the like even the action combat of, because it's even different than 7 and 7 Remake. Like those have kind of their own systems, but this Crisis Core was kind of the test bed for the technology on the PSP to then do Birth by Sleep, which is still regarded as one of the best Kingdom Hearts games.
You know what? Like, let's hold this because I want to go into a topic about like the remakes that are happening. Also, we'll come back, but I gotta hit the head real quick.
Okay.
Sorry to do this to you guys. Get in order.
Let's pause. Cool. This is dope. This is cool. Did you want me to pause that, Ethan? I just did.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the tiredness is starting to set in. I'm go home and take a nap.
I've done all day. You got a lot done. Genesis.
Please tell me. Legend shall speak.
You'll get to hear Genesis do Loveless. Have you ever played Crisis Core?
Oh yeah, I beat Crisis.
Okay.
I didn't play it like multiple times because my brother stole my PS4, finessed me out of my PSP.
Infinite in mystery is a gift of the goddess. We seek it thus and take to the skies.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what Maximilian Doom thinks about it.
This is the last piece of the Final Fantasy VII remake revisited type stuff. So, this article for Final Fantasy VII.
All right. Transaction. I want to touch on that. I know there's a few games being remade right now, so we might get into that.
All right.
Ready? Yep. All right, we are back. Sorry about the impromptu break, but we were getting into like the Final Fantasy and like it's a Crisis.
So we have Final Fantasy VII Remake, we have Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, and then we have a few other remakes that are happening.
There's one, right?
Oh yeah, Silent Hill 2. We're getting a Silent Hill 2 remake from Bloober Team, which is also going to be exclusive to PlayStation, like console exclusive. So.
And then we have like two this year, like two different remakes came out this year. Of different games. I can't think of the name of the games that they were, but I know a few other remakes came out this year. Metroid Prime, right?
Oh no,
that was re-released. Is what that was.
Metroid Prime was something that was rumored to be coming back this year, but we haven't gotten official confirmation of that yet. But I mean, like remakes, remasters, like ports, like games. Oh, Resident Evil 4 is another one.
That's the one. Yeah. That's right. Like, is that saturating to you guys? Like, y'all know if you're like a good gamer. It's like I know, like you personally are a hardcore gamer. Like, do you like the remakes?
Yeah, like if they're respectful to the source material and like bring it back and like make it quality and like modernize, because like games show their age a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And if you can modernize the game and like bring back something that's a classic for a reason. But like modernize it and like show it the respect it deserves and like treat it right. Like even there's a Legend of Zelda, the Game Boy one. Link's Adventure. It was the Game Boy Advance, Link's Awakening. So they did a remake of that for the Nintendo Switch where like they completely changed the art style, but it's the same game. Like Final Fantasy VII, like, so if you look at it, like...
It's like almost verbatim game-wise?
Yeah. But I mean, that's like a game that people really hold dear. Like, I know Game Master Herb, who we've talked about on the show before, is one of his favorite games of all time, and so he knows the game like the back of his hand and just got the remake and will do things to challenge himself or like play the game completely just because he knows where everything is. But like, if you look at this, like it's stylized and it's just a complete remake of visuals. And
it looks like a lot of those cool indie games you see out there every so often.
Yeah, but the level of polish is something that like Nintendo is always like, Nintendo.
The quirky nuances you see in certain games, yeah.
Yeah.
That is definitely a Nintendo trait. That's like I don't know, like I'm not sure I'm negative about remakes. I guess I haven't like gotten used to it, but I feel like it's also becoming a thing. Like it's also becoming like a new norm.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of cashing on nostalgia and like it's what sells these days.
Yeah.
And I mean, Resident Evil 4 remake is coming out after Resident Evil 2 remake and 3 remake like actually went and performed really well and like were things fans were happy about. So.
And 4 isn't that old, right? 4 is like still in the 2000s, like what 2005.
Well, I mean, it's GameCube.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's where it originally came out. And the creator said if it came out anywhere other than GameCube, he'd chop off his head with a chainsaw. And then a couple years later, it came to PS2. And then has proceeded to come out. But he's still alive, so...
That's good news. Yeah, 2005. I was right about the year. I was wrong about the console. All right. Damn, I didn't know it was GameCube.
Yep. Apparently one of the best versions is the Wii, because, like, it fits really well with the motion aiming. So using the Wii remote as like the gun, like to aim, it seems like.
I do see more and more people using like peripherals and whatnot, like in the VR world.
Oh yeah, this game has well, not this one in particular, but Oculus actually has an exclusive like VR version of Resident Evil 4, the original. Like playable front to back, completely in VR, where you're like first person as Leon. So.
I wonder why that's not being propped up. Have you guys played it yet on the VR on the Oculus?
No, I don't.
Interested? Huh? Okay, right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd definitely give it a try.
I'm big in like anything VR. I want to get into VR. I played it when I used to work at Best Buy a few years back, and I just try to hop on and play whatever I possibly could. I was at main event last week.
What have been your favorite VR games?
I wouldn't say favorite, but like the ones I played, like the Batman one, mostly the ones that are on that were originally on the PS4 when that first came out.
Yeah, the PSVR.
They had a vendor there, cool dude. I still follow him on Snapchat. Like he had like a lot of VR games constantly that he had there. I used to just play whatever was there. I would put it on and just go at it, man.
Yeah.
Nah. So no names really. I think like the what's Rocket Ball, one of them. It's hard to remember, but like I knew I had a good time doing it. That's actually when I was starting to get my decline out of games. If you want to hear about our games, we should listen to the previous episode. It was a good time. We talked about all of our first games.
Yeah.
You got like a long list, man. But that's mostly like I want to talk about the Requiem for a Plague. I know it's a sequel. Did you ever get a chance to play that?
No, I know Juan Oni Noir X on Twitter, one of our friends, he got really into A Plague Tale Innocence, which was the first one, and this is A Plague Tale Requiem, which is like, they were actually able to turn the game around quickly, especially for such a small team, like they were able to like be nimble, and apparently the game just starts off and goes, like it picks up right after the last one. No recap or nothing. You're just like adding in it. And so, but it definitely does look like, the thing is it runs at 30, which again is a turn off for me. Like I don't feel like we should be like compromising with frame rates this early on in the generation. But yeah, what do you think, Dee? Like, is it looking like it's up your alley?
I like the puzzles to the game, like the having to shoot an arrow to get to certain A and B spot. Like you're still fighting against antagonists the entire time. I like the idea of that. The rats do frighten the fuck out of me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
Like the plague of rats, I really don't want to be seeing that while I'm playing the game. Like I don't. It's a bit much for me. But the story about Hugo, the main character's brother, like why he got sick and how he's still alive, is something I wouldn't mind finding out the story of that.
Okay.
Like I know like not many people play games for the story, but
this is one you would.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of those few who will play a game for the story.
Well, I'll be playing 16 for the story and gameplay. And
we're looking at the rats right now. It's like
sea of rats.
Dude, no, thank you, man. Like I'm good. I don't need that in my life.
And like they're all physics objects, so it's not even like that's like a texture. Like no, it's a bunch of there's rendering.
Just a bunch of rendering balls that looks like rats. Yeah.
4K rats.
4K. You are correct.
They're not ray traced, but you know, there's some high tech rats. Like getting the torch, getting them to react to.
I feel like if you want to get a little more interactive, you like have one bite you every so often or try to attack you.
Yeah, that most likely happens. I'm willing to bet that's like a thing of like, if you try and like have one jump out at you. But I mean, they're afraid of the fire, so. Like, using that as a mechanic, like, having their eyes in the darkness and everything, like...
It is interesting. I won't deny that. I can see why people are talking about it and see why they're playing it. I do feel like this is in the same wheelhouse as Stray, but, like, not as popular as Stray is going to be. Because of the Plague of Rats. But if people are talking about scoring, I could be wrong. You never know. So,
yeah.
Shows what I know. Anything else you want to touch on?
Not that I can think of. Persona 5 Royal's out on everything now, so...
That was on my list of things to check out. I haven't had a chance to look into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great game. We know it's solid from its original release on PS4, so now going in and having it on PS5.
It's bold. I feel like your game came out, though. Them Fighting Herds also came out.
Well, yeah, so that game's been out in early access for a while and had its 1.0 launch a while ago on PC.
Okay.
But it's just now coming to consoles. But, I mean, I have it installed on my Steam Deck because I've had it on PC since early access, so. But I know it's like a rollback fighting game, but it's just. And it has crossplay now, so. I
posted it on Twitter, and someone actually knew about it, and where it was the site that I was talking about it because they got some more exposure because it's not getting very much right now. But
it's not the most mainstream game, but it has an audience.
It does have an audience. It's very definitely geared to a certain My Little Pony crowd, looks wise, but like
that and the hardcore fighting game.
Yeah, you told me like the hardcore guys are also like fighting games are into it because the mechanics are good despite the pretty aesthetics.
I was playing Paprika when I was playing.
Yeah, that's your go-to.
Yeah, from the little bit I played, yeah.
It looks like a fun game. It really does. It feels like it will give Multiversus a run for its money.
It's definitely not going after the same crowd. Like Multiverse is going after like a general, more mainstream crowd.
Okay.
Where them Fighting Herds is like we know who we're going to get, and we're going to get them good.
So this is their like a niche.
Yeah.
What you're saying to me. Okay. Yeah. All right then. Well, I think that's it. I can see like you're reaching your full, man.
Yeah.
You had a busy day. Like you've been at it.
Definitely ready to go home and take a nap. Like I'm super excited for that.
Whew. That's what I did before I got here. But it's been a good show. It's been nice. Like I can't wait to do like this again. Like the place is nice, man.
Yeah. We've got some upgrades. Got video.
It's different. For sure. Different.
Okay. Well, remember you can follow me around the internet.
Like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Podcast.com. I was like, let's wrap it.
Fuck this shit. I'm leaving. And I'm Dee and FPL Nerd talking about FPL Nerd talking. This has been a good time, man. Always good. I'm fucking crying over here.